My friends.
Where's Odin?
Father has fallen into the Odin sleep.
Welcome back to Director's Choice. Loki is a character that has been adored by fans ever since his debut appearance in Thor in 2011. Though he didn't start out as a lovable character, the God of Mischief has warmed his way into the hearts of viewers across the world. And that's why it comes as no surprise that he now has his very own show on Disney+.
Big metaphor guy. I love it. Makes you sound super smart.
I am smart.
I know.
Okay.
Okay.
In this video, we'll be getting into the details about Loki's character, from how his upbringing affected his relationship with his adopted family, to the hidden motivation behind a lot of his actions.
You really believe in this Loki variant?
Luckily, he believes in himself enough for the both of us.
A little disclaimer before we start. This video contains spoilers from past Marvel movies. Now that that's out of the way, let's get right to it. Here's the breakdown of Loki's psychology. Loki was raised in Asgard as Thor's younger brother, giving him the identity of a god. Before Loki later realized that he was a descendant of the frost giants, he had always felt an inexplicable resentment from Odin, the king of Asgard.
What am I?
You're my son.
Unknown to both Loki and Thor while they were young, Loki was actually the child of the frost giants, King Laufey. His biological father had abandoned Loki because he didn't have the typical look of a frost giant, and during the aftermath of a battle with the giants, Odin had picked the abandoned child and raised him with his wife, Frigga. Odin had transformed Loki's appearance to be more Asgardian and grew up alongside Thor, the rightful heir to the throne of Asgard. While Loki was treated like royalty, he always felt a bit put off to the side.
Greatness.
I could have done it, Father!
Loki wasn't as strong as the actual Asgardians, especially not royalty like Thor, and that led to a lot of resentment. The only person Loki truly liked was Frigga, who cared for him and taught him how to hone his magic skills and sharpen his wits. The problematic relationship between Loki and Odin set the pace for the tension between Loki and Thor, Odin's biological son. Throughout his childhood and young adulthood, Loki played several pranks to toy with Thor's emotion. And when the time came for his coronation, Loki sneakily invited the frost giants to attempt a theft in the kingdom of Asgard.
A long way to die, Asgardian.
How did your people get into Asgard?
The House of Odin is full of traitors. Your father is a murderer and a thief.
Pretending to not know the truth about the situation, Loki fueled Thor to seek revenge on the giants despite Odin's warnings. The revenge plan ended with the revelation that Loki was a frost giant and Thor was banished to Earth, much to Loki's pleasure.
Sir, please put down the spear.
Finding out the truth about his birth was one of the most demoralizing things that Loki experienced. It confirmed his suspicions that he had never really been welcomed at Asgard, despite the insistence from Frigga and Odin. Loki felt that his entire existence hadn't been as much because Odin wanted to save his life, but more because Odin needed him as sort of a white flag to bring peace between the Asgardians and frost giants. The revelation, when put in the context of several other times that Loki felt inadequate when compared to Thor and other Asgardians, placed Thor in deep internal turmoil. Feeling like you don't belong is one thing to deal with, but finding out that you never did and never would, that takes it to the next level of pain, and Loki was hurt. Unfortunately, the situation only served to fester his hatred for Thor, Odin, and Asgard as a whole even further. Loki felt very inferior to those in his immediate environment, but rather than showcase that side of him, the God of Mischief used his wits to take on a superior mindset. Although he wasn't in fact a god, Loki used every means of power he had to enforce submission and demand obedience from others. When he confronted Odin about the truth of his birth and origin, Loki was so upset that his reaction put the Asgardian king into Odin's sleep, and immediately Loki took Odin's position on the throne. Reveling in all the power he had, Loki went to great lengths to make sure he could enjoy the kingship title for as long as possible. He went as far as traveling down to Earth to make Thor stay away from Asgard and attempting to reconcile with the King Laufey of the Frost Giants.
The House of Odin is full of traitors.
Do not dishonor my father's name with your lies.
Your father is a murderer and a thief.
While a lot of his actions came across as purely psychotic and antisocial, Loki was simply just an adult who was still reeling from the pain of an abandoned child who never felt like he had a place in the world, not with the Asgardians nor with the Frost Giants.
I was a king, the rightful king of Asgard.
One of the most recurring themes of Loki's character development is his unfiltered bitterness and constant mischief. Loki learned early in life to get by without the strength and powers that everyone else in Asgard had, especially his adoptive father and brother. In addition to his wits, Loki developed some magical tricks and ruses to help him get out of certain situations or simply play a nasty prank on Thor. Frigga helped Loki and was a constant source of comfort to him, but Loki seemed to hold a grudge at the world as a whole. Thor and Odin were the main focus of his anger and bitterness. Loki used different methods to usurp the powers of Thor and Odin. He stole Odin's identity several times and followed Thor to create chaos wherever the god of thunder and lightning went.
What'd you say?
Ragnarok! Ragnarok! The fall of Asgard. I cannot hold her back any longer.
Back who? Who are you talking about?
The goddess of death.
Loki created so much chaos in Asgard, and when he was cast away, he pledged loyalty to Thanos, the Mad Titan, and went on a mission on Earth for his new boss. Loki was an insufferable villain who took great pleasure in seeing his enemies and sometimes innocent people suffer as a result of his actions. He had very little remorse and was mostly unaffected by the outcomes of his actions. Loki has veered on the edge of being good and being evil so many times that his redemption was a major spectacle. Loki and Thor worked together to save Asgard from the plans of their evil sister Hela. While their plan to save their kingdom doesn't work out and Asgard gets destroyed, Loki and Thor found some understanding and reconciliation. The newly formed bond between the brothers was short-lived. In the next Avengers movie, Infinity War, Thanos had attacked the escaping Asgardians, and Loki sacrificed himself once again.
You might want a guide. Do you have a bit of experience in that arena?
The rightful king of Jotunheim, god of mischief, do hereby pledge to you my undying fidelity.
Undying.
Loki's self-sacrifice in Avengers Infinity War was the perfect redeeming arc for him. Thanos' snap was a defining moment in more than one way. Aside from wiping out half of the universe's population, the snap also motivated the Avengers to travel back in time and try to get the Infinity Stones far away from Thanos and his maniacal plans. Their travel through time takes us back to a world before the Infinity War, ending when Loki was still evil and mischievous. Loki stole the Tesseract and created another timeline of events. And that's where the recently released Loki TV series picks up.
You picked up the Tesseract, breaking reality. I want you to help us fix it.
Loki's character in the series is still the arrogant trickster who hasn't gone through the process of redemption and reconciliation. The type of villain Loki will be in the TV series is one of the things we're definitely looking forward to finding out. And we believe that the Loki TV series will provide answers and a deeper insight into Loki's personality and attitude. As a character that often flickers between being a villain and supporting the main heroes, it's never easy to guess what Loki has up his sleeves. True to his name as the god of mischief, Loki can be very tricky but entertaining.
What is this place?
What exactly is it that you want?
I want you to be honest about why you do what you do.
And that's why we're looking forward to unraveling more about his new identity in the TV series. Do you think he'll be as bad as he was in the 2011 Thor? Or are we going to see softer glimpses of this villain? Let us know your opinion in the comment section. That's all for today. Thanks for joining us on the breakdown of Loki's psychology. Please take a moment to look at this other recent clip by Director's Choice, and be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring that bright notification bell to get alerts for our latest videos.